CCR TV for yet another episode of Heads Held High. We're here with two very bright students from the Rosary High School, Cujira. And, well, let's get to know them. Hi, Darren. Hi, Himangi.
Yes,
Welcome
hello.
to CCR TV. So, when we were chatting, and to let everybody know, Darren has been in the school since nursery and Himangi since
Lower KG.
lower KG. That is a decade of their lives, and I can't get over it. It's a long time
Yeah,
that
it
you
really
spent
is.
there, and now you're the head boy and the head girl for 1 year. How's the feeling of being head boy and head girl?
At first, it was quite daunting, right? Because it's a new experience and
Daunting?
yeah, very daunting.
Very daunting. Okay, what about you?
For me, first it was a hectic situation because
Okay.
I had to balance the duties and my studies.
Yes.
And later on, I learned that you need to keep patience. And then that's how I got used to it. But now, when I'm comfortable with it, really.
Oh yes, you're leaving. It's a very heavy word to say, right? We're leaving. Okay, but we won't get there already. Let's get to know Darren and Himangi, shall we? First things first. Darren, 5 words that describe you as a person right now.
Yeah, sure. So, firstly, I would say that I'm an English enthusiast.
Okay.
I love reading and, just overall language. Secondly, tech savvy. I'm quite interested in the technologies, right?
So right now the gadgets in the room are just calling out to you.
Exactly.
They're calling out your
Like,
name.
they are working and how do they function? Like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. The next would probably be, introverted, as I said earlier.
That's
yeah.
nice. I don't see you as much of an introvert, but probably I think there's if needed you
Yeah.
can hold a conversation, but preference
Yeah,
is just...
no, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about you, Himangi? What words describe you best?
I would say that I'm quite honest and clumsy at times, and then obedient, responsible, and cheerful.
That's nice. What are the songs that you're currently, like, if you had to like get your phone out and listen to a song right now, what would that song be? What's your current song?
For me, Unstoppable by Sia.
Ooh,
Yes.
Unstoppable by Sia. And you?
I'm more into Bollywood songs, but
Yeah.
right now I'm even preference is English songs. So I will say Kings and Queens by Max.
Ooh, so this every time I ask this question, this is almost like a me question because I just want to know what music's going on. I'm like, let's broaden the
Yeah.
spectrum in the genres. But now that I am with you here, I want to take you back to the moment where the election happened. There's so many people, youngsters, parents watching this episode, and we never get to know about this part of it. So how did the election happen at the Rosary School?
So at our time, it was COVID, obviously. And so earlier on, we used to write a letter addressing to the headmistress and answer a couple of questions like, what would you do as the head boy? Why do you want to become the head boy? But since it was, no longer, physical classes, we had to submit a video, in an online format, answering the question. So then this would be better for the teachers to sort of gauge, our gestures and things like that. So, yes.
Wow, and audio visual. That's
Yes.
nice. What about you?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah.
All right. And this is the first time we've interviewed, I think, 2 other schools, and I know a few other schools where the teachers would choose the students.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
here you apply for it,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
go. The Rosary High School is doing some different things in different ways, and I'm keen to know more. And then what happens?
Then you're just judged by all those things, and they also look at from the perspective of students. Will the students be comfortable with this?
Oh, like the other students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How friendly are you with other students?
Okay. So when did you come to know that you would be head boy or head girl after the video?
It was after quite of days. I received a call It was just previous day the investiture ceremony would happen, and they were like, you have to come to school for it. I was like asking them for what. They were like, no, you just have to come to school, come well dressed in a school uniform. So okay, I went and I had a bit doubt that I might have been chosen because we all knew that it's an investiture ceremony day. But also they were like, making it not, not to be known because by saying that you just need to help us out. So I went there, I see a crowd of students, like a particular standard called, and then we were made to stand aside. And then it was.
So you and Darren were made to stand aside.
Mine was a bit of a different story because I was the vice captain
Oh.
last year.
So you were already there. You knew
Exactly.
you were there.
So I was there. I applied for the position of the captain of the Yellow House as well as the head boy,
Okay.
with no intention of ever becoming the head boy. Honestly, it was my sister's advice. She was like, "Go for it." I was like, maybe there's just too much competition. I'm not sure.
I'll have
like,
faith in my
yeah,
sister's
exactly.
faith.
But then I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll just give it a go. But not to undermine, of course, I did put in effort. It's not just like, okay, I just submitted a random video or
I
something.
get what you're saying.
So, yeah, it was just so shocking to hear my name
Name
get called. Like, what? It was really, really.
Was it a
an
what
experience.
situation? Though you had an
For
idea.
me, it was a complete shock because even I had applied for the Yellow House captain as well as the head girl post.
Oh.
So I thought the head girl post would be much competing. So yeah, I was like, okay, still I'll apply. And then that time when the head girl walks onto the stage to the mic saying, I give my post to Himangi Agrawal. I was like, wait, what's mine?
Oh wow! Oh my, that would have been a moment. This is a shout out going. What's your sister's name?
Karen Pinto.
Karen, well done. I like the faith you had in Darren, and it's borne fruit for a year. Now, what about you, Himangi? Now, let's go back. Okay, your name has been called out. You've been there. From being a vice captain or being, were you the monitor or any other post?
A normal student.
Well, okay. I don't think we get to say that anymore. But you were just a student without a designation,
Yes.
a school council designation. And do you think something in you moved in those 10 seconds, or it took a few days for the head girlness to seep in? Or was it instant? Was it just you went on the mic, you took your oath, and there you were? The head girl had emerged.
No.
No.
It took time for me to understand that what really head girl being is.
Okay.
It was like many responsibilities. That time it was like, okay, I'm the head girl now. And yeah, but it wasn't a proudness or something. It was like,
Yes.
okay, it was something unexpected kind of thing.
Yes. A prestige, a title that helps you become. What about you, Darren? Was it instant or did you?
Oh, definitely not. Because I had no, even the slightest thought that I would get selected. So it took me a couple of days to process the news, and then, yeah, I was the head boy. Like, wow.
You are,
Yeah, I
isn't it?
am,
You
right.
are, you
Yes.
are. Well, okay. So now moving from the investiture, brilliant, this suddenness of the thought and then becoming one. Over this past year, I truly believe that whenever you take a position of leadership, you are changed. You move, you grow. How have you grown as individuals, as students, in the past 1 year that could have only happened because you were head boy or head girl?
I guess in terms of, my leadership traits, right? I really grew as a person because, these instances and sort of these interactions that you have as a head boy is quite different than if you were just like a normal student studying.
Why?
And then,
Why would you say that? I'm
because,
curious.
Yeah. Because there are just a lot more responsibilities, right? Like you don't allot minding to students on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
right? It's not like you set placements for corridor duty to make students stand in a line, and so things like that. And they sort of change you in a way because you sort of learn your mistakes from these interactions. Otherwise, you wouldn't have much of an interaction within your friends, I guess. Yeah,
That's
and
true.
teachers, because yeah, it's much more limited in that capacity.
That's true. You become responsible for other people.
Exactly.
And that is sometimes you feel that added responsibility. What about you? How has this changed you, this experience?
To be honest, I've got more patience in myself.
Really? Patience? How?
It's like
Or rather, why?
I never had patience in myself. I was like, no, I want it now. I want to do it this. I want to, I never had patience. But now I've learned to keep patience in things and see what's going ahead rather than just jumping into things and making.
Yes. But did you learn that the hard way, or did that come as a forward thought, or like did something happen and then you were like, okay, I need to have patience now?
Yes. There were many incidents, many.
Okay, all right. So patience is key here. Anybody out there, students out there, who say maybe we aspire to be head boy, head girl someday. To be very honest, when I was in 8th and 9th, the thought doesn't cross your mind. It crosses your mind beginning of 10th standard when it's really close. But by then, the teachers have observed you for 10 years or 5 years. What would you tell students who are watching? What would you tell our students? And even parents to inculcate skills. What skills need to be inculcated to become young leaders? Among you want to go first?
As my experience, I will say keep patience, things will happen, and try to be more friendly with your friends and kind hearted. Because it's not really that you have to change yourself to become a leader. A leader is a person who takes a group together and walks with them. It's not you walk ahead and the group is behind.
Patience. And what about you, Darren?
Mine would be time management, because it's quite difficult to sort of balance duties and studies. So definitely learn the importance of time management, and yeah, definitely inculcate that into your day-to-day schedules.
Time management and patience. Anything, and I'll give you a hint here. When I was head girl in my school, there's one thing that I was trained to do by teachers. I was living in Sarzora, which is south of Goa, and we speak Konkani in a little bit of a tune. So it goes Kitkot go, Kitzal go. There's a sound to it, and when you speak English like that, how you doing? It has this sound to it. So I remember a teacher of mine had to stand me down and train me for days, and get the articulation right. Or I was trained at that point of time, and even before that, to speak well and to speak right. And I've carried that with me over the years. I think a decade and more after leaving my school, the language still and that training still carries on with me. What do you think you will carry with you? Something that you've learned, a trait that you've learned, other than, of course, time management and patience, that you'll carry with you that you think is going to be important 10 years down the lane for you?
I think to have conversations, because the best way to resolve any problem is to have a conversation, not with the problem, with the people causing the problem, right? So yeah, I think that's the greatest thing I've learned, because otherwise it was just, you are causing some problem. I guess I'll just ignore it and hope that it subsides. But yeah.
So I think that comes as a challenge to your introverted self.
Yes.
And
definitely.
I think that's changed you in that sense.
Yes.
For sure, that you'll be open for conversations here on.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. What about you, Himangi?
I think what he said what actually makes sense. You should make things clear with people. When you're in a misunderstanding, learn to make it clear there and there and not hold a grudge against them.
So conversations and conflict management is
Yes,
something
exactly.
that you've learned. Do you think that you're going to apply for head boy, head girl in 12th standard?
I personally think I should focus more on studies.
Okay.
Because yeah, I mean, I've already had this experience.
Yes.
I kind of also want to give others a chance.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about it.
That's nice. And what about you?
For me also, I guess I'll focus more on studies because NEET is something very hard to crack. And since I've had the experience, I feel that if you want to go for NEET or something, then you need to keep focus on the study. It's not like
Studies.
completely into studies, but maybe a bit chill out this time in 12th standard. Like with
Hey,
friends.
I like that. Just chill a little bit. It's been hectic. Just chill a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Why don't you go ahead and give a shout out? I would like for the two of you, being together for 10 years. No person or no leader can lead by themselves. You require teams. You require people to boost you. You require sisters who will tell you to apply for the post, and parents who will ensure that you have the things you need. To go ahead and be the person you can be. And a young leader, especially, needs all the reinforcements they can have. So, here we have two young adults. Why don't you give a shout out to the people who have helped you and been on your team and supported you in this journey of being a head boy and head girl?
Yeah, sure. So, firstly, a big shout out to my fellow captains, Nigel, Jeshlom, Vedanta, Bhargavi, Sia, Nidhi, Nia, Zaraya, Shifa, okay, even Himangi, of course. Okay, you really have been such an amazing team to work with. And of course, my family, my siblings, Karen, okay, Papa, Mama, Kate, Sean, and Ian. And yeah, thank you a lot.
What about you? Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Thank you to all the captains out there, even the ex-captains. I've taken many advices from you, and I really aspire all of you all. And a big shout out to my parents because they've always been my backbone for some or the other reason. Even today, I'm here because yesterday I had a high fever, but today I'm good. So thank you, Papa and Mama. And my younger sibling, she's a nuisance for me, but still, I've learned how to care for people, and because of her, I've learned quite many things which I just can't, recall now. But yeah, thank you a lot, and my friends. Whenever I'm tense, you all are the ones who tell me, chill.
Now you're chilling.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to chill for 12 standard. Every school is different from the other school. While the education is the same, while we learn more or less the same things, you and all the other kids across Goa are learning Pythagoras theorem. All the other kids are learning certain, things in history and geography. Though the academia is the same, there's certain things about a school that only that school can have. And what is different about the Rosary High School? What is special about it?
Sort of the experiences, right? Scouting has been like the main theme of our school, right?
Oh.
So we have a wide range of activities like camping, hiking, like
Everything.
exactly,
Rafting.
literally rafting.
Wow,
yeah,
rafting.
it's really
Oh.
really fun.
Okay.
And also another thing I think is the gem of our school probably is our teachers. The experiences that they have and so many stories to share. Like you could sit in the class and stay there for an hour altogether just listening to their stories that they have.
That's
So
nice.
yeah, it's definitely those two things.
Those two things. Anything else to add?
It's just that our teachers are more into guiding us not only for academics, not only what's in your textbook, but they go out of the textbook. So if there's a person who's being out of track or is not on the right path, the teachers stop and correct the person, correct the class, give them some moral. Maybe they might lag behind for that class, but they'll still give morals before the textbook things.
Okay.
And there's sort of unity in our school students.
Oh, that's nice. Yes, I think that scouting and guiding also trains us a lot for what has to come. So that sounds. I'm sure there are parents out there also listening to these things and saying, "Wow, we didn't know that. I really didn't know that about the Rosary High School, and today I know." And if you now let's turn the tables. If you were a teacher, just for a day, for 2 days, and you had the option to teach any subject under the world to these kids, what would you go tomorrow and teach? And everybody's okay, they want you to come and
Yeah.
teach. All else being same, what would you teach in a school to students?
I mean, I have two subjects.
Go
So
ahead.
first would definitely be English. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, the cat's out of the bag. But the other one would also probably be history. It's
Okay.
something I'm really enthusiastic about.
Okay, but these two subjects are already being taught. So what
Right.
about English
Oh.
would you like to teach? Like, what about it?
Perhaps the more writing, like
Creative writing?
exactly
Okay,
creative
and in
writing.
history?
History, most of the mythology. I think that's at least in our history texts
Yes,
isn't
we don't have
explored
mythology
exactly
at all.
at
True.
all.
Yeah. So,
So-
which mythology? Greek?
Yeah, Greek.
Indian?
Greek is much more comfortable for me,
Okay.
but Indian would.
Be just
Yeah.
fine. That's nice. That's a good thought to have, by the way. Mythology because most of India, I am sure, and across the globe, mythology plays such an important role in our lives and where we are. And that's a good subject, actually. In English, of course.
Yes.
I mean, of course. What about you? If there's a subject you'd like to teach, it's something that it's not taught in school also. What would that be?
It's being taught to us, but it's not in academics. So I would like to include self-discipline and character.
Wow, self-discipline and character. And you have that subject, you said?
No, we don't have the subject, but teachers do go ahead and teach us self-discipline and character.
Correct. Oh, so self-discipline and character. I agree with you. Anybody moving forward, we need the self-discipline. We need to know
Yeah.
ourselves and how we do it, and what should be done. Bringing this conversation, beautiful conversation, to a close. As head boy and head girl, you are now going to give the mantle on, and sometimes because you've been through a year, you know what's required.
Yeah.
You know what. But what do you hope for this new head boy and head girl to be like?
I guess to sort of be more welcoming to different ideas, because trust me, you will be facing a lot of different ideas from a lot of different people.
I like
So,
the emphasis
yeah.
in it.
So definitely be accepting and don't sort of shut off these ideas, because ultimately what teachers advise, it has some truth to it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not everything may be applicable, but certainly some things should be taken into consideration. So yes.
And that makes sense. What about you, Himangi? What would
I
you
was
want this
saying-
new head girl who's going to be taking this position? What do you think should be a disposition? What do you think she should know or do?
I've learned this one thing throughout my experience. Learn to listen to everyone's opinion out there. So, be more open to your council team and take their opinions, no matter what it is. Because opinions do matter.
Yes, so you listen to what everybody has to say. It makes
Yeah.
for good leaders to
Yeah,
be
it
able
really
to
is.
do that, but it is very tiring and taxing. And time consuming. I think to not only listen but to also act on it effectively
Yes.
takes a huge.
And guide the council on the right path. Means if you know a captain is doing something wrong, maybe correct the captain.
Take responsibility in that aspect of it. Wow, this has been a very informative session, and we've got to know a lot about the school and the process of becoming head boy and head girl. I'm sure you have plans from here on to do a lot of amazing stuff. But if there is anything that you would like to say about this experience, something that I have not asked you about, or you want me to ask about something, what would that be? Anything that you want to add on about the entire experience? Anything? No?
Maybe this was, like you said, a platform where we got to know each other more.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah?
it's- Yeah, I mean, before it was, we didn't really meet much, you know.
Okay.
We really
We were
never
in
asked
separate-
each other
yeah.
these questions.
Oh, wow, really? I can give you a list of 15 questions you have to ask your friends and family. Sit them down. And really, general questions. It helps to bring the team together. And you get to know each other. Because I believe both of you are going to be doing sciences from here on.
Yes.
So, different sciences or maybe the same ones. And then life takes you for different things. Drawing from this conversation, and for everybody who's watching, Himangi and Darren have been very grateful to share with us the entire experience. As said multiple times, academics is so important for you. You need to have your academic base covered. And from there on, you need to be patient. You need to step out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone. And as Himangi and Darren did in the first place, you have to take the onus to make the first move and say, I would like to be a part of the head boy. I think that is
Like
very,
courage itself.
Yeah.
yes, it's a lot of courage to say, and you show faith in yourself.
Exactly.
I think that's a lot of faith that you show in yourself, or your friends, family, teachers. I know teachers also sometimes encourage students to take up positions.
Yes.
Show courage in yourself, show faith in yourself, and we will see you shortly with yet another pair of young leaders from a different school. So stay tuned in.